Hi, this is Mr. Barr, and we're going to take some notes. So let's start with our name, your name. And the title for today is Solving Quadratics Using Square Roots. In the last lesson, we talked about quadratics, and we recognized that quadratics are equations that have squares in them. So if I had an equation that looks like this, x squared equals 25. This is a quadratic. And I want to know what x is. So what do you think x is? If you're watching this live, you can type in an answer. What is x? So what number, when I square it, gives me a 25? Well, I know that 5 would work because 5 squared is 25. But there's another answer out there. And the other answer is -5. And that's because -5 times -5 is also 25. Well, here's what it looks like when we solve it using the rainbow poster. We know that addition undoes subtraction, and division undoes multiplication. So we know all these different fights. You know, how do you fight addition with subtraction? How do you fight division with multiplication? We know these fights. Well, how do I fight a square? I fight a square with a square root. I fight a square with a square root. Here's what it looks like. X squared equals 25. What would you like to do? Well, Mr. Barr, I would like to take the square root of both sides. The square root cancels out the square. And I'm left with x equals, what's the square root of 25? 5. But remember, there's actually a positive and a negative answer. So when I take the square root of both sides, I'm going to put a plus minus in front of the square root. That's telling me that there's going to be a positive answer and a negative answer. So to solve this, I take the square root of both sides. Let's do another example. Oh, excuse me. So right here, my answer isn't just 5. My answer is positive 5 or negative 5. Or I could write it as plus minus 5. That means positive 5 and negative 5. Well, let's make it just a little... Actually, before we do this one, this does not have to go in your notes, but I want you to see what the graph of this thing really looks like. I'm going to add a y into this. So if I just throw a y in, give me a second. I'm going to go to Desmos again. Let's bring this up. And we'll clear out this last one. So we're going to make it y plus x squared. Let's see, I'm thinking this is going to work. Equals 25. Now, I know that seems a little weird that I just threw a y into it. What I really did, I should have gone, let's see, x minus 25. It worked either way. let's go back to this equation. So I'm going to turn this into an equation that I can actually graph. And to do that, you do not need to put this in your notes. But I had y squared equals 25. So this is the same thing as, excuse me, x squared equals 25. X squared minus 25 equals 0. And I'm just going to say that that 0 is really a y. This will make more sense in the future. But x squared minus 25. So what I have back here at Desmos, I have y equals x squared minus 25. Y equals x squared. I know I'm going off on a tangent. X squared minus 25. Okay. I want you to see that the solutions to this, the plus 5 and the negative 5, are actually the x-intercepts. So the x-intercepts are the solution. That's just a connection I'm hoping you can make. Okay, let's go back to the notes. And we'll do one more example here. This time we'll make it a little bit more challenging. So let's go with x squared plus 4 equals 40. And I want to solve this for x. I want to know what number can I put in for x and make this thing work. Well, maybe you can do it in your head. But I'm going to show you how to do it using the rainbow poster. Rainbow poster. I'm trying to get the x squared by itself. First thing I'm going to do is subtract the 4 from both sides. You're doing this in your notes. Minus 4. Minus 4. Red marker of death and destruction. X squared equals 36. At this point, I take the square root of both sides, remembering my plus and minus. Red marker of death and destruction. The square root, killing off the square. X equals plus or minus 6. All right, that's it for the notes for today. I'm going to do a couple practice problems with you. If you'd like to stick around and do a couple practice problems. So I'll just make something up. So let's go with, where am I? There we go. Let's go with x squared equals 81. What are the two answers to this? Well, it's plus or minus 9. Because 9 squared is 81 and negative 9 squared is 81. Let's do another one. Let's go with x squared. Oh! I hope you're still watching this video and haven't checked out, because something's about to happen. Let's go with x squared equals... So right here, there are actually two solutions right here, right? Okay, so x squared equals 0. What's the answer to this? What number squared equals 0? Well, it's 0. And in this case, there's only one solution. And how about this? X squared equals negative 4. What number squared equals negative 4? Well, 2 squared is 4, not negative 4. Right? 2 squared? No. Negative 2 squared? Negative 2 times negative 2? No. So here's the deal. There's no real solution. I can't, you know what? We got to put this into our notes. you can't take the square root of a negative. So if you ever get to a point where you have the square root of a negative, there's no real solution to that. You'll learn next year about what are called imaginary numbers. I'm not going to teach them today, but there is a solution, it's just not a real solution. So the square root of a negative equals no real solution. The square root of 0 equals 1 solution. And these are back into your notes. And the square root of a positive equals 2 solutions. So that is in your notes. It'll be interesting to see who watched the entire video or who checked out as soon as I said the notes were done. Let's do one more example, or a couple more examples. So let's do x squared plus 9 equals 90. What are the two answers to this? What are the two answers to this? Let's try one more. Let's go with what's the answer to this? That has one solution. All right, thanks for watching. Have a great day.